My name is Tim Darst. I'm the Associate Program Director for Earth Literacy here at the Earth and Spirit Center. One of my jobs is to run the college internship program. It's an environmental internship program. And the interns are mainly college students, and they work on various environmental projects on the grounds here. We have 27 acres here at the Earth and Spirit Center, and we have lots of projects, things from trail maintenance. We have 2 wetlands that need to be maintained. We have rain gardens and herb gardens, pollinator gardens that need to be maintained. We have a food forest, but we also construct new things. The food forest was built by interns, the composting system. So we're always looking for new projects and have a lot of exciting things for the interns to do. The internship program for us is a transformative learning experience. It's service learning where the interns not only learn skills, but we feel that they are transformed into caretakers for the earth. By putting them in charge of taking care of plants and animals and trees, that it builds within them a desire to take care of all living things.
My name is Ollie Tierney. I grew up here in Louisville, actually just a few blocks away from the Earth and Spirit Center. And I decided to do this internship because I actually grew up going to the kids' summer camp here. And so this place is a part of my home, and I just really love it. It's such a unique spot, you know, a forested area right in the middle of the city.
I first found this internship because a friend of mine was an intern already, and we were talking one day and she was like, "Hey, I have this cool internship." And I was like, can I join? And she was like, "Yeah, of course."
So I originally came into this experience wanting to be fully immersed in a life with nature, and through different projects and working with the earth here to be able to understand myself as a being who is of the earth, which we all are.
I'm a sustainability science major, and I want to work with nonprofits in some way, and that's kind of what brought me here, because this is a nonprofit and I like their mission and what they do.
I've known some people that work at the center for a while now, and in high school I was part of Our Earth Now, which is like a youth-led environmental group, and so I've always known about the center. And just recently I went back to school for ecology, so I was basically looking for some hands-on experience.
So my name's Amanda. I'm a junior at the University of Dayton, and I study environmental biology. And I found this internship through one of my old high school teachers because she's connected to this. And I got pretty lucky because with COVID it made it difficult to find different opportunities. So I got really lucky with this, and I've really been enjoying it so far. Honestly, I was just excited to learn anything, and Tim has really taught me a lot when he walks us around and stuff and just points out different types of trees, and just he knows everything, so he's taught us a lot. But yeah, I've learned about different invasive species and how certain ones like honeysuckle, if you don't pull it out all the way, it comes back even stronger. And so I've just learned a lot about different things.
One of the big ones is being able to identify plant species. I feel like Tim is really helpful with just as you're walking, just telling you this is what this is and this is what this is, and I think that's really helpful. Even if I don't use it in a job, it's just helpful in your home to be like, that shouldn't be here, and so you can just take it down.
Being able to go into a forest and identify a lot of things and kind of see some issues that need to be corrected is something I didn't really know how to do before this internship.
Throughout my years in high school, I did a lot of work in climate policy. I was really passionate about the climate crisis and the social justice issues that were related to it, but I mostly worked in policy. So coming here and working with the Earth really helped me remember that there are many levels to doing climate crisis work. It's not just, in government buildings, it's also, here on the ground. So it helped me find a lot of respect for the farmers and the foresters and, all the people who are doing the physical work.
Aside from feeling more confident doing like physical work to the land, it definitely helped me. Like now I can recognize a lot more plant species, especially invasive ones, and I know how safe ways to remove invasive species.
So last summer I did a lot of invasive species removal. I did some trail maintenance as well, and then I also did some work on the food forest, so weeding and spraying and just maintaining and stuff like that. And then I also helped manage a lot of the kids programs, just like as like a camp counselor, as a volunteer, stuff like that.
The biggest project I've been involved in so far is the bridge building. We recently had a Boy Scout come through and reroute one of our trails. And as a result of that, the trail crossed over a road that was extremely muddy and had some deep divots that would fill up with water every time it rained. And so what we did as interns is we came through and we dug into the road so it was a completely level surface, and then we took bricks that had been dumped into the woods much, much earlier and filled in the road so that any hikers coming through could just walk on the bricks and not have to get into the mud or the water.
Maintaining trails. The Earth and Spirit Center does it in a very unique way because we don't like to use gas or electricity, so we had these very old farm tools that were scythes, and you basically swing it like a golf club left and right to clear the weeds. And the purpose of it is so that people can feel comfortable on the trails and experience the center. I don't mind walking in a very gnarly trail, but not everyone is like that or used to that. So part of it is educating and exposing people to nature, because a lot of people don't have that experience.
Okay, learning about berms and swales was great because it's important to, cultivate the land in a safe way. And then, I know that if I ever have my own property, I can do that and landscape, which is really fun.
So one of the main projects I've worked on is the winter creepers. And so that's down one of the main hills, and it's basically just pulling out invasive species and making more room for the plants that we need to feed the animals and stuff like that to grow.
I've done a lot of invasive plant species removal, a lot of the honeysuckle, the porcelain berry, that type of thing. And then another project that I worked on was the Cosmic Walk, which is really cool and new and exciting here. They put together these signs, 20 signs, and it talks about evolution and has from the Big Bang all the way up until where we are now, the Great Work, and shows this trail of trying to illustrate basically how long each time span is and how now, with humans being a part of it, that we just take up such a small part of the entire span of it.
So this morning we took some time to walk through what will soon be the Cosmic Walk, which is a project here that is sort of taking you through a bodily experience of time through the history of the cosmos, and really getting people to understand that our time as humans has really been so brief in comparison to everything that preceded our existence. Yeah, it was just really humbling to walk through a sort of bodily understanding of where we are as humans in the history of everything and how much of a phenomenon we are, really.
My career goal is to become an urban planner. I want to become an urban planner because I learned in human geography that so many of the social justice and environmental issues that I was passionate about actually have their roots in urban planning and policy. So I want to go into this profession to help make cities more sustainable and more just. And the Earth and Spirit Center is actually a really great example of something that I'd like to bring into other cities. You know, having a large nature reserve like this in the middle of a city is so important, not only for the environment, but for people's education. So yeah, that's something I want to do in the future.
I have found myself enjoying the sustainability work a lot more than I thought I would, and it is something I feel like continuing. Like even within my everyday life, I'm looking for ways to be more sustainable, like starting a compost bin, or even just keeping an eye out for species that may be invasive in my garden. And it is something I do want to work more on in the future, and I'm glad that this internship has given me the opportunity to help see what I can do.
Even with the family camp thing that we did, I really enjoyed watching little kids learning about nature in a environmental education way. I think it's really interesting to see their perspective when they're when Farmer Gabriel, I think this Farmer Gabriel was talking about the herb garden and was teaching them about the things they can and can't eat. I think it's really interesting to see it from their perspective of wow, you can eat some types of plants, that's so cool. So I think it's really interesting that they learn things in such a different way than we've already been taught things. And I think that is something that made me realize maybe I want to do this in the future, something with environmental education for children in a nonprofit situation. I think that made me realize, wow, I could maybe do that in the future, because with our current situation with climate change, I think starting the education for kids about the environment is so imperative that we do that, because if we don't, then it's detrimental to everyone. So.
Yeah, they're the future.
Yeah.
I think environmentalism intrinsically correlates to my purpose as an artist, because I believe the role of art to be to inspire humanity out of its self-destruction. And so I think in this day and age, the environmental crisis that we are soon approaching is really the biggest barrier we've got ahead of ourselves.
I've been thinking a lot about ecological restoration and forestry. Those are a couple things that I'm researching and hoping to get into in the near future. I have a very broad interest in anything that's gonna help our planet or save our planet.
I've learned a lot about the environment, but also just there's a good work community here, and he teaches us a lot about mindfulness and just being one with nature. So I think that's really important, because when I get into the real world, I know it's going to get really hectic. So just a reminder to take time to just kind of make time for me to be one with nature. So I think that's really important, and that'll help me with all of my life goals, because when I'm have a better mental mindset, it'll help me just keep working on my other goals.
In the world today, there's a lot of stress, whether it's just stress from home, stress from work, stress from driving, stress from watching the news. And if you spend time in nature, at least for me, spending time in nature helps you forget that and helps you live in the moment. Breathing in the clean air, surrounded by plants, animals, it's a calming experience. Your stress hormones go down. It's healthier for you physically as well as emotionally. And so I like to spend time in nature. Many doctors are starting to prescribe that now. Spending time in nature to help your physical and emotional health. And I find when I'm in nature, I'm more in the present moment. I'm not thinking about the past. I'm not anxious about the future. I'm simply living in the moment.
I'd say it's a way to kind of merge together, if you have a passion for the environment, but you feel disconnected from it, it's a good way to know that you can have a say in the way the environment around you works and the way that everything is working together and making sure it's gonna stay here for a while. Because a lot of times nature, the environment, is seen as a separate sort of thing from humanity, which is really stupid. Honestly, it's really dumb. This is the planet we're on. We have a duty to protect it. And so we are nature, even though we're kind of battling with it at the same time. So it's a good way to get your hands dirty, do some good work, and feel more confident about where you are.